What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the 5.5 update show. It's time to party. That's the name of it, but we're also going to party here on set. I'm Aggro. I'm going to be hosting. Hindu Man, he's in Las Vegas, and I know you guys might miss him. You know, he's kind of the savage guy. Everyone knows him. He just says savage stuff all the time. He's a savage. That's how people know him. So I'm, going to do my best here to continue on in his legacy as we go through this update show. Let's get to the skins, what you guys really came here for. You saw it at that birthday video right at the beginning. Got a little bit of a preview for you here of those card arts. Elegant Nemesis going to be right off the bat. Looking very elegant, I might add. Certainly a one of those skins that you guys are going to want to grab. That's part of the birthday bundle.
As always, failure is not an option. Let's fight.
Up next, we've got that itty bitty chibi Amuz Cobb. Really emphasizing the B part of the chibi. You guys have been loving these chibi skins. I have as well. Let's take a look in game. SkyTech Zeus next up on the list. I've been waiting for this one for a while. I mean, if you couldn't tell by the shirt I'm wearing, I love me some Z-Man. This one is sick. I can't wait for you guys to see it in game. It's going to be an awesome one.
Today I fight not for my life, but for myself. Illumination. These immortals must be shown the order of things.
Orbital. Oh no, excuse me. I don't want to skip too far ahead. I'm just trying to skip over the Guardian skins because, Hindu Man usually loves the Guardians. I'm more of a mid player, but I guess we got to do it anyways. Dark Matter Kepri. Next up. God, that card art's so cool. That's definitely like background of my computer material right there. And then we've got Orbital Scout Artemis as well for all you Hunter mains out there. It's going to be a pretty crazy roller coaster for you Hunter mains this patch, but we'll get into that in a minute. All right, then we've got some mastery updates as we usually do when we get some cool new skins. They get some cool new mastery updates as well. Nemesis looking good in the gold and blue. Again, we'll be going over all of these in detail later on in the show, right after the balance notes and the item changes. We also have Amuz Cobb getting a mastery update. He's excited. I think that's what that means. He seems excited at least. And then, of course, we've got our newest mastery update. That's going to be Achilles. I'm excited just from looking at that card art. It just makes me feel happy on the inside. He's just a beautiful man, and I just kind of want to look at him all the time. All right, so those are going to be your skins this patch. We got plenty more on those. Again, we're going to go through all their voice lines, all that kind of stuff. That's later, though, because right now we've got resident balance extraordinaires, AJ and Pon. Guys, welcome to the new set, by the way. You digging what we got going on here?
It's comfy.
Hey, yeah, glad to be here. I like this. I'm glad to be back on a couch.
Just, relax.
This really feels like the show that we need to be, is the couch.
Take a load off, just relax. We're just talking balance, no pressure. Everyone's going to love these changes. No one's going to be upset.
Oh,
yeah,
it's going to be
people.
Yeah, 0 people.
100%
nice and easy.
success rate.
All right, so let's start with items. What was kind of the general philosophy when we were talking about item balance in this patch?
We wanted to take a look at hunter items, so there's going to be a bunch of those today, specifically things that they're getting in the early game. Hunters often have quite good late game power, but a lot of that time the ramp up can be a little bit of a rocky traveling. So we took a bunch of the notes on that, and then there's a couple other items in there that are just items we haven't been seeing very much, people that haven't been fitting into their build, so some buffs to go in there too. All
right, awesome. So let's start off with the other end of that spectrum, because you talk about what hunters are going to like. Let's start with something they might not like as much. Midgardian male getting a buff, but also a change, it feels like, Pon.
Yes. So the big thing here is Midgardian Mail is this previously RNG effect that would allow players to be suddenly slowed, both movement speed and attack speed. And that kind of made it inconsistent. When you got hit by it, you didn't know if you're going to have this powerful slow applied to you or not. And the person buying it didn't know if they were going to apply that powerful slow. So we've now made it consistent. We've removed the RNG element. Now it is a consistent, RNG. Every time you get hit, it's a stack of 15%. So it's half of the previous strength, but can stack up to 2 times to its full strength. So they have to hit you twice to ensure the full durations, the full slow effect, basic or movement speed and basic attack slow that it previously gave, but now it's not RNG.
So now you know what you're getting every time you not only buy the item, but you're hitting the person with the item. Do we feel like this is an upward trend for this item, AJ, or is this going to be kind of stay around the same power level?
It's hard to say because, well, it's a slight upward trend because now it's only taking 2 stacks. It was 30%. But there was that opportunity before where you would take 1 shot, immediately apply the full strength of the passive. Now it's going to definitely take 2 hits. So, like I said, it's buffed. It's a weird kind of statistical analysis you could do based on how lucky you feel you were. If you were lucky a lot, maybe it worked okay. I guess it is a buff if you really crunch the numbers, but it's the same overall strength, but more consistent.
Huge nerf to Pon because with Pon luck, he basically never procs.
It always worked when I bought. I actually didn't know it didn't have a 100% chance to proc.
100% crit chance on every item for this guy.
Every time, no matter what. All right, next up is going to be Witchblade, a small buff here to Witchblade as well. Just getting another 100 health on this item.
Right, so this was an aura item specifically that can counterbuild other types of gods. So you got, your fast attacking assassins, hunters, mage ADCs. But it was kind of straddling the line in between offense and defense. We wanted to make sure that we kind of push this item a little bit more towards the support oriented build. So if more tanky characters, more support oriented characters really want to counter build, they're going to feel a lot more comfortable buying this item now.
Gotcha. All right, so let's go to what the hunters are going to like. What are we'll go kind of alphabetical, I suppose. Let's start with Aussie. And Aussie getting a little bit of a buff here. We recently touched this item, Pon, but we're kind of putting some more power back on.
Yeah, so we took away the penetration from it. Previously it gave 15, now it gives 10. And that was a very big adjustment towards the actual power of this item. And it removed a lot of the oomph that it had. It was always this item that straddled the line of being always bought or never bought, depending on what balance state it was. And we largely owe that to the pen. The pen, when it's really, really good, if it has enough supporting stats, is going to be dominant. When it doesn't have enough supporting stats, it's going to be weakened. When we reduce the actual pen, we can bring back some of those secondary stats without necessarily worrying too much about it being 100% built all the time.
But this is an item that can still kind of go with that transcendence build that we're seeing on hunters right now.
The synergy stats help it build with like things like transcendence. If you want to rush power like a Devo's Glove and go more lifesteal, you can. Crit builds, they like the penetration and attack speed and lifesteal from it. So it helps it flex into builds where previously it might have been a bit underwhelming for.
Well, mentioning those crit builds, we've got 8-pointed Shuriken up next. Going to get a little bit of a cost decrease here, down from 1,700 to 1,500 gold. But we're going to adjust the tier 3 items are going to stay the same. So 8-pointed Shuriken might not sound very familiar to you guys. That's the tier 2 of that Shuriken tree.
Yeah, so there was a really big jump up in price between the tier 1 and tier 2. We wanted to just kind of smooth that out a little bit. The stats for 8-pointed Shuriken might have not really felt representative of the cost. So instead of increasing the stats, which could throw off the rest of the items a little bit more, we just shifted that gold down a little bit. So you now, as a hunter, be able to build more incrementally towards your Poison Star or Wind Demon. Feel okay about that instead of really needing to save all of your money and skip right to the tier 3.
So just to clarify, neither Wind Demon nor Poison Star are getting any sort of cost decrease. It's just smoothing out that curve to make it
cost the same as they currently do if you were to buy them from base.
Perfect. All right, so that's going to help the crit build. We saw the lifesteal getting, the Aussie getting a little bit better for your lifesteal. Let's buff an item that used to be core. You were just talking about this, Pon. I mean, you don't want the items that are built every single time. This one used to be, but we haven't seen it a lot recently. Ichaival getting a buff.
Yeah, so it's getting the amount of power that you actually get for stacking it is going to get increased. So now instead of getting 21 power, you're getting 30. So this is a partial revert of a previous nerf that we did to the item. Before it was really, really core. We toned it down. We saw people mess around with it and it kind of fell out of favor. We're bringing it back specifically because we're looking at hunters. Their early and mid game, they were struggling. And this was an item that previously really enabled them to, if they wanted to go an early game build to actually maximize the ability to box or have an impact early on and sacrifice some of the late game for that, they can go this item. So bringing back some of the power it previously had so that players can actually build this in the early and mid game and feel that impact is important for hunters as a whole right now.
Okay, so if we're buffing Ichaival, Silverbranch has always been kind of tied to Ichaival. Those two kind of right next to each other, both bridge items. Silverbranch going to be seeing a change as well. That passive getting adjusted. Now you're gaining attack speed every time you're hitting someone. That stacks what, up to 6 times?
Right. So yeah, this is a pretty big shift actually on Silverbranch. Previously, these items kind of went hand in hand. They were originally designed to do that, but we shifted a lot of that to Ichaival to allow it to drain power from both magical and physical gods. Right. An important note too about this Ichaival change is we're not changing the debuffing factor of Ichaival, only the self-buffing factor.
Okay.
So those don't necessarily need to match, and they won't, and you'll notice that is intended. So Silverbranch, we had this draining feature. We kind of already had the power drain on Ichaival, but Having it again on Silverbranch was starting to feel a little redundant. The attack speed wasn't specific enough. So we removed the drain entirely and it focused just on self buff. So now Silverbranch Bow has potential to be the most attack speed on a single item in the game at a bridge item price, which we thought was really exciting. But you have to really keep the stacks up and manage them. So you get this really cool feeling of just building attack speed as you're going, fighting, shooting more and more shots, hitting more targets successfully. And you have a more specific niche for the item to fit into as a pure attack speed item.
Your little like motion there made me feel like Apollo is gonna like gain his passive and then have all the Silverbranch stacks and all the shots are gonna be fired at once. Like the attack speed is just
goes
a
warp
million.
drive.
Yeah, exactly. Just
What do we make it?
one big bullet
6 stacks, but Apollo is 5, isn't he?
on the audacity.
Well, yeah,
I talk about
he'll
this
get
one.
5 shots, but he can charge up his audacity while he's building.
You just have to
Right.
make sure you get Audacity and Silverbranch on the same perfect number of stacks, and you're going to be feels good.
2.5, easy
go.
right there
Here
on
we
the
go.
attack speed. All right, so that's the attack speed side, but we've got one more buff to try and help compete with that Transcendence start, and that's the Spiked Gauntlet. That's going from 0 power to 5. Now, that's the tier 2 of Devourer's Gauntlets.
Tier 1.
Oh, tier 1 of Devourer's.
Even more
Gauntlets.
exciting.
Oh, wow, that's way better than I
Yeah,
even
this
thought.
is this is pretty big actually.
Yeah, the big thing here is, so there's certain hunter builds that you can start, and they all have their trade-offs, right? You could rush Transcendence, you could rush Diva Gloves, you can start Hunter's Blessing, and so people right now are generally favoring rushing that Transcendence really heavily. And one of the things that we can do to help early game hunters, which is what a lot of these changes are focused for, is allowing them to have relatively strong access to lifesteal early on so they can stay healthy in lane. But going Hunter's Blessing tier 1 Devos was a pretty slow start, especially compared to Hunter's tier 1 Transcendence, and then tier 2 Devos. So now we're making that build a bit better by allowing you to have a bit more physical power early. It'll help you compete with other characters who don't go that start. You'll be hitting them a bit harder, getting more damage on the wave. So just a nice buff to that specific build.
So do you think this will be enough, AJ, to kind of combat that early Transcendence rush that we're seeing out of these hunters, at least for some sort of characters?
I mean, ideally, we still see some gods that prefer Transcendence and others that prefer Devourers. We don't want either, we don't want the entire class forcing one option.
Right.
So that's really the goal here. Also, it was mostly just a feels bad scenario where like just the plain lifesteal and nothing else on that tier 1 made your start feel especially weak. With the payoff is pretty good, but you have to get the item and then stack the item. So it was quite a while. And Transcendence also rewards you pretty well right when you buy it.
Yes.
So this is really going to help those items have a more similar curve. So we can focus more on the differences in stats, I guess, and less on the pacing.
Makes sense. All right, so next up is a little bit of a fix, but kind of a semi-nerf, but not really. The Crusher is getting some visual effects changes. So now you can actually tell that you're taking those.
This is a new feature.
Yeah, new feature. Yeah, good
There
point.
you go.
Yeah.
That's that you call everything.
Everything's a new feature. Should I just like cross all these
Yeah,
off?
so this
right here?
visual feedback is important. We don't want to put too many item feedbacks in the game. We always take a very close look and see if we really need it. But this one dealing damage and delayed damage. So that was a weird feeling to be hit and be like redlined on health and then die a second later and not really know where it came from. We also often had complaints on that from Bluestone. So Crusher in a similar way, adding a kind of damage over time effect when you get hit by it.
Now you don't need to check your little debuff bar and see that you're about to take some more damage. So
Right,
a little bit
you will see it coming.
easier for the players. Okay.
Yep.
Last item here that I have on the list, Malice getting a little bit of a redesign. Pon, I can tell that you're excited about it,
He's
so I'll
ready.
just
Yeah.
shut up and let you talk.
So Malice, we changed previously last patch. We redesigned it largely to make it feel different from Deathbringer. Focus it on ability hunters or ability assassins heavily. Just make sure that basic attack focus crit versus ability crit felt different. And it was underwhelming. It was kind of hard to use. Rather than keeping track of the stacks from like basic attacks like Heartseeker does, you had to keep a mental note of which basic attack was a crit versus not, and keep that in your head. And it just was also, even when you got it fully working, it was a bit underwhelming. The situation for it was a bit too conditional. So we redesigned it again, and it's now going to be focused very clearly on ability damage. So now when you successfully crit with a basic attack or an ability, for the next 3 seconds, all your abilities will deal 35% increased damage. And so that will help you, like if you're Naja and you ult in the air, your first crit will trigger it, and then the rest of your hits will actually work with it. If you're a hunter, you can do things like, I'm Hu Yi, I crit, dump my kit right now. It kind of encourages this different play style where you might save your abilities. If you see a crit happen, you might choose to dump all your abilities, and that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, that sounds. There's going to be some crazy burst damage coming from this.
Yeah,
item.
let's go.
One way or the other. People, the theme for me, that my takeaway for season 5 is people are dying really fast, and that's like awesome. And I'm all about that life. So this item definitely fits that. Do you guys feel like this is going to be more of an assassin or a hunter item?
I feel like this will be a little bit more assassin focused, but I think if you're one of those ability hunters, Neith comes to mind, Hui comes to mind, Chiron might come to mind, although he might be a bit too slow for this. Cupid could use his burst combo. If you really want to build, just focus on ability damage, don't go the attack speed items to make your basic attacks better, and look for that one crit to then just explode all your damage out. It could be a fun playstyle.
Well, there you go. That's the item changes coming to you in 5.5. Again, the kind of overarching design goals, hunters, power curves, good at the end, good at the beginning, just need to find that middle portion and smooth it out. There you have it on your screen. A couple hunter item buffs and also some buffs to help counteract if those hunters get a little bit too out of hand. All right, so that's items. Let's move towards the gods, the really fun part. What about, so we talked about what the overall goals were for items. How about for gods, AJ?
Well, we definitely did a lot of cleanup. You're going to see a couple buffs or nerfs that are mostly fixes, some more visual clarity. When we did the Wukong change last patch, we started talking a lot more about that. So we added a lot more of that in here. And we've also just been keeping an eye on top picks, top bans, and gods that have really been out of the spotlight.
All right.
So focusing on those outliers and fixes.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's start it off with Wukong, the god that you just mentioned. Had that fixed last patch. This time, getting a straight up nerf. Dragon Call going down in some magical power. It looks, the numbers look kind of funky, Pon, but that's just because he gets to shoot multiple dragons.
Yeah,
here.
so the ability, when you activate, you get 6 dragons, and then per the dragons you have, when you throw them, it does damage. We're specifically reducing the throw damage, so the amount of percent that he gets from that is reduced. So it can't really be a nice clean number, so 78% it is. Okay. But this is largely to focus on his ability to burst. He's this melee-focused kind of mage where you get in and you burst and look for an execute, but the range, his safety with Dragon Throw, and the amount of damage he could provide with Dragon Throw was a bit too high. It was really hard to play around him. When you felt like you outmaneuvered him, positioned him, he could throw this at you and you felt really punished for it. We're toning that down to make it more manageable, especially at the higher level play where he's seeing some pretty strong performance.
All right, the other side of the coin when it comes to mages, it's Wukong bursting you down. It's Aphrodite saving your life, and Aphrodite is getting a buff here, at least in a way. Her Undying Love, that's her ultimate. She can now use this while in the air, while being knocked up. So even if she's being knocked up and your teammate's getting wailed on, you can still save them.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because we've always had a rule in Smite where you can like fire certain abilities while crowd controlled.
Yeah.
And that would involve like things like thorns.
Yep.
But we didn't really consider knockups in those, and especially beads and things like that. We wanted to be careful. You can beads in the middle of a knockup, but it just doesn't do anything.
Sure, feel free.
Right,
Yeah.
it's a bad decision.
Yes.
So we were looking at this, and we were talking a lot, and the community was talking a lot about Cerberus interaction with Aphrodite, which is that Cerberus is now the first beadsable knockup. You can cleanse his knockup while being lifted up, and it'll actually drop you back down sooner.
Sure.
So that kind of brought it into our mind that actually Aphrodite has other use cases where it might be effective to use in the knockup just to make sure she can take less damage. This ability is really meant to shield people at any time, so it was just kind of strange that it didn't let you fire that way. So it was kind of a consistency old rule, but then we were okay to overrule it in this scenario because it made a lot of sense for Aphrodite's ultimate.
There's some kind of lore joke here where Cerberus gets Aphrodite buffed indirectly in some way, right?
Yeah, some sort of Greek. I don't know. We need to get some expert in here.
Yeah.
I don't know if the two ever have any official myths together. Really.
I mean, she spends a lot of time like around the other gods, and
she doesn't go to the underworld though. Aphrodite.
Yeah. Maybe
Hercules goes and
maybe
beats
they've got good
Cerberus
sandwiches down there, AJ, and she wants to go grab one.
Hades.
You don't know her life.
That's true. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
CABRAKAN next up on the list. CABRAKAN, this is no actual changes here. It's just to the targeter, but it's a little bit more clear on where that ult is actually going to connect for damage.
Yeah, so the ultimate has a big damage burst component towards it. It's down the center line of the ability, and then it creates the walls. Now the targeter directly conveys that damage area.
Okay.
So that you know, like, if they, sometimes you might ult and they don't take damage, it's because there's some dead spots in that area where like the line versus the wall that pops up appears. Now you'll very clearly see, okay, they weren't in that area or they were in that area, and I can damage them.
This is something that I'm not sure I should actually admit, but this is one of the very rare situations where you guys told me about this and I was like, wait, really?
Yep.
I had no idea.
The targeter was misleading for this ability because it was trying to convey the wall position and the hit area.
Right.
The two blurred together on the edges, and now it's much more clear that it's just a line damage. That's the way it's always been intended, and then the wall spawned.
Perfect. All right, another fix next up on the list. That's going to be Chang'e. So with a lot of these circle abilities, we've had to make some passes to make sure that it's hitting in more cases.
Yeah.
Chalk Torrent, for one example. Same deal here with her 3, that Moonflower Dance. Now making sure that you can just consistently more heal your teammates.
Right. I do believe that this was originally an intent but this has been in the game for a long time. There's no reason we can't change it. There was just a feels bad moment where you would have a dead zone at the very back left of Chang'e where players actually would not be healed or damaged by this. So we just increased the persist time ever so slightly. So it's still going to travel all around at the same time. It's just going to go a little bit further to make sure that that completely makes its rotation all 360 degrees around her.
Feel a little bit more consistent when you're
So you still can miss people in the area based on how you're moving relative to them, as it is a collision area that travels around you over time. You will still miss, but no longer on 2 stationary targets should you miss.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll at least be able to say that it was that little dead zone is why I missed my heal on you. If in the case that I'm trying to make
Previously, yes. After this patch,
much harder.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder to miss.
Challenge accepted. CUDGEL getting a nerf. This one much more focused on the pro level here. Not going to be able to get access to his third ability at level 1. So whenever he transforms into the Berserk form, right now, CUDGEL can use his 1 and his 3. Now you'll only have access to that starting whenever you level it. So you'd assume level 2. However, he still will have the rage pulsing out of him, correct?
Correct. So yeah, the big thing here is the level 1 pressure he was exerting was really high, and it caused players to be able to control things like the blue buff on the first rotation or push people out of lane and cause them to be denied experience. And it was a very high level thing to use that effectively. And so now we're removing that. His level 2 and onward is basically unchanged because, as you said, you're probably going to put your next point into either whatever you start with, the other skill.
Sure.
But that specific level 1 scenario where his power level spiked really hard and it was very difficult to fight has been toned down. And this was largely targeted towards the high level play because we do see CUDGEL's performance as a whole. He's doing okay, but he's not like blowing out metrics or anything, but at the high level he is this very strong pick. People value him very highly, and it's largely for this ability to bully people so early on in lane. Shout
outs to the SPL pro players for really kind of telling us over and over again how they're using this specific feature of CUDGEL to gain big advantages early game.
Yeah, I think I can hear Variety cheering like all the way from England right now.
Probably.
It's weird that I'm actually getting that in my ear. That's crazy. All right, DAJI next up on the list, another god that has been doing pretty well in pro level play. She's getting some damage nerfs on her passive and on her 1.
Right, so an important thing to note about the passive is that actually that applies on a lot of her other abilities.
Right.
All of them except the ult, I believe.
Yes.
So that is a little bit of a scaling damage nerf to all of those abilities, and then also a direct scaling nerf on just the burst factor of her her stealth stim. So this is the burst, right? We've had really burst. We wanted assassins to come back big time in season 5. We wanted more deaths and more aggression here. Shoutouts to aggro. But DAJI's burst was a little bit too much, and she has a lot of other good tools in her kit too. She's very evasive, pretty mobile, has some lockdown potential with her ultimate. So just toning down her burst a little bit. She's still going to have a lot of good damage over time. Her abilities tick, and she can stack that passive on you, things like that. But just getting rid of that one-shot feels bad moment.
I think we can all look at that one clip of adapting, like Blink autoing someone from 100 to 0. And
a lot of damage.
That was kind of the collective moment, I feel like, where we were all just like...
Well, that's still an important skill to learn if you're a DAJI player.
It is.
Blink auto. But yeah, this is going to be dealing a pretty significant less amount of damage, and especially in the late game because it's all scaling based.
Perfect. All right, next up on the list is Discordia. She's getting a little bit of a cooldown nerf on her 3. So the safety of this god is kind of the feedback that we really received, from my understanding, going from 16 to 18 seconds here.
Yep. So she's a mage that, like, if you actually ever get on her and she doesn't have the ability to answer, she's going to die very quickly. But she does have self-peel from the ability to root someone that's directly on top. You can use the stealth to evade things. It's a very powerful, essentially, immunity frames where you can quickly dodge an incoming burst that might hit you. And you also have the ultimate, which gives you CC immunity and also dissuades the enemies that are attacking you from attacking you. And so this level of safety on erratic behavior was just too frequently available, especially because when you're in it, you're also reducing your other ability cooldowns, your 1 and your 2. So lowering this down so that she's a bit less safe allows people to actually jump on her, get on her, especially in the later game team fights.
A little confused though, guys, real quick. This just for me. Season 5 mages, I thought we were just buffing all of them all the time. This is a mage nerf. A little
this ends
confused. Now?
Yes. Oh, mage is nerfed. We nerfed a mage or 2 last patch too,
Yeah.
We had a lot of item shifts. We had to keep a close eye on mages. We had to, when so many things change, But
Zeus still hasn't gotten his stun back, and so until that happens, I will not.
Zeus deserves his stun back. Well,
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
God.
I'm going to put up a
stunning.
petition.
Smite community, go ahead.
Soon enough.
If you want it, back up this guy. And
This is
we'll-
what aggro sends us.
Yeah.
It's true. Just give it back. Nothing felt better. Okay, I'm not even going to get up on my soapbox. Next up on the list, it's going to be ERLANG Shen. ERLANG receiving a couple buffs. Has been underperforming a little bit on a lot of spots. Basic attack getting a little bit of a change there, but then it's really on the spot weakness and the pin, his 1 and 2, where we're seeing some direct buffs to him.
Yeah, so the basic attack change, that's a little bit more of a cleanup from us. It had some weird damage versus timing that wasn't synced up, so we increased the damage to match the timing. So that's following a standard rule of Smite. The spot weakness actually most players didn't know this because you can't see 0.75 of a second very clearly in the game when you are using this ability, but we moved that up to 1 second to make sure that this was really feeling impactful to actually resetting the cooldown on this ability, especially as it's pretty cool. He's like a basic attack warrior, which is relatively rare in the game. So adding a little bit more to that feature and to make it a lot more clear visually and just from design what's going on. And then Pin, we've been over a lot of things with Pin, right? Pin was an absolutely insane ability.
Yes.
When he first came out. The original stats on Pin were crazy, or leading to ERLANG Shen support because it was one of the best lockdown abilities in the game.
Yeah, ranged root cripple.
Right, with a relatively fast throw time.
Right.
But we want to make sure that he can still clear lane and poke effectively. So he's getting a bit of a damage buff there to round out his skill set as a little bit more of a attacking guardian, or
Gotcha.
not guardian.
Yeah, and I think the big shift for
Warrior.
him. The big shift for him was really season 5. Death Toll was a big portion of his ability to sustain
Yes.
and the amount of pressure that he could have in lane. And so after we saw that removed, other warriors kind of figured out different builds that they can do to be effective, but he felt like he didn't really find like a good enough build path. And so these buffs allow him to be, if he wants to go a bit more bruisery, he has a bit more damage overall. If he wants to go more basic attack focus, there's some synergy there. If he wants to go like pure tank, the base damages are up a bit so that he can benefit from it. So he might have some more build path opportunities now that he didn't have before.
Perfect. Okay.
Awesome.
I see that next on the list, we're back to the way it should be
Oh,
here.
yes.
A mage buff. Isis getting
Yep.
a buff. Movement speed going up from 355 to 360. That's something that we've been doing to a lot of mages to try and help them out.
Yep.
As well as touching the cooldown on Dispel Magic, her 3, and buffing that Circle of Protection.
Right. So, I guess I lied to you a minute ago because there's even one more mage buff coming too.
Yes,
So
I know.
We're
I'm
still
excited
paying
about
very
that one
close
too.
attention to the mages who aren't performing well in any of our metrics. So Isis, been around for a while. She has a really great damaging abilities. Wing Gust is one of the highest damaging like lane clear abilities of any mage. And Spirit Ball, if you time that well, like those things hurt.
Yeah.
But she has some really cool utility features as well. And we wanted to highlight those more because that's really what sets her apart. So Circle Protection is the ability she can mitigate damage and heal from her whole team. So we made that a little bit easier to charge up and increased that extra utility on it. And the silence, a ranged silence, is relatively a unique ability in Smite as well. And that also has a protection steal component to it, which is pretty strong.
Yeah.
So we just reduced the cooldown there, let her use that a little bit more. Because I feel like a lot of people don't really think of Isis as being able to lock down people or prevent types of initiates and stuff like that. But when you use this silence well, you really can do that. So we wanted to give her that ability to really become a specific pick for that reason.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so much of the talk around Isis that we do as casters is always, her early game great, her late game gets a little bit worse. The one that I'm most excited about is this damage reduction buff towards the later stages of the game, where you can kind of plant the Circle of Protection, say, you have to fight us here, and we're taking less damage in it.
Yeah, Fire Giant pushes, Phoenix Sieges,
yeah.
Even like trying to end the game on the Titan, it's really hard to actually stop a team from pushing your Titan down if this is down at 20% mitigation. That's going to be very impactful.
Excited.
It was big.
For some Isis play. I love playing Isis. All right. Next up, Sobek getting a fix here, a little bit of a change, similar to the Ao Kuang one last week. This time on Charge Prey, he had a little bit of an untargetable window in there. That's been removed, correct?
Right.
Yes. So previously there was reasons why this kind of worked this way. When he throws people over the head, he loses collision so that they can pass through him properly. So the collision cylinders don't hit.
So basically, everyone should just imagine Sobek wearing a super tall hat all the time.
Yeah, he had like a really tall hat, and when he tried to throw people, it would hit that hat and they'd bounce off. So he became untargetable so they could pass through. Well, since the early days of Smite, we've added a whole bunch of new tech, Phantom largely, right, where we have very clear ways of allowing player to pass through walls. That kind of stuff doesn't necessarily need to be hard-coded as this total collision removal. And so we're fixing Sobek, so now he can actually be hit. He can actually be CC'd. He doesn't just suddenly go essentially invisible from abilities, while he looks like he's on the battlefield. He can still be hit, but the functionality is there. The functionality of him being able to actually throw people over him works.
That's the big one. Is really the visuals.
Yes.
They didn't communicate any sort of immunities, so now he no longer has them.
But he's not going to turn invisible because he's got, he doesn't have the phantom
Making
thing. It's
sense.
just nothing will change really out of this except for
Pong gave you the extra
Yes.
special dev reasons why.
I love
I
that.
think the dev reason's cool.
The abilities, and there was never any issues in game. This was just way back in the very before SMITE even launched, because SOBEK was a launch god.
Right.
To make this ability working properly, that's the strategy they used, and we just have a better strategy now.
Pon, I think AJ's just jealous of Sobek's hat. Should get him a hat for his birthday.
Oh, dude, we should just make him like a really tall top hat.
I'm a SOBEK
He's
main for
AJ's
life,
already
so
tall. Like I
don't
don't know.
talk to me about SOBEK.
Like one of those like chimney cleaner hats, the like really tall ones.
Just the
that'd be
top
cool.
hat.
Yeah, no, but a really tall version, like preposterously tall.
Yeah,
All
like
right.
like you
I
could
won't
see it
turn
like
it
in the
down.
jungle. You can just see this,
Yeah, just
this
like
hat poking
it's
above
like a
the
little
walls.
submarine, one of those things, like
periscope?
periscopes. Yeah, that pops up.
I'm
That'd be
down.
pretty solid.
I'm down. Get it for me.
That's the buff that Sobek needs. All right, Sun Wukong gonna get a buff here as well. Another warrior that has been kind of lackluster since the beginning of Season 5. Getting some buffs to his 1, the Magic Cudgel. A little bit of damage, 10 per rank, all the way from 1 to 5. And then a little bit of a mana reduction there as well, but that's only towards the top end. Still staying at 50 at rank 1.
Right, so big thing to note there, although that's a small amount of damage, he does do increased damage to minions, so that's going to do a little bit more. He lost Bluestone, and minions got a little tankier in Season 5, so just giving him a bit to compensate for that. And the ability is relatively low cooldown. He's using it a lot, so he can run out of mana pretty quickly. That's never a fun feeling, so trying to be very careful with Sun Wukong. We did some buffs early to Sun Wukong Season 4. He went from never showing up to being 100% pick ban, and pretty much 100% win rate as well.
Yep.
So we're being very gentle here because the god is quite strong and versatile. Just trying to help him compensate for the changes that happened this season.
He does it all, no doubt about it. All right, last god change we have on the list here is going to be for Vulcan, another mage, so I'm happy about it. Backfire getting buffed, a little bit of more base damage, again, kind of that same tankier minions situation. But I think the one I'm more excited about is the Inferno Cannon changes. It's going to be a little bit more effective now with that item.
So we talked a bit about Vulcan when we made a previous change to him earlier, and he's just a character that's struggled because there's not as much power available to him, and especially as what we were pointed towards was his pet doesn't really benefit from like Obsidian Shard anymore, because now this passive effect that gets applied and pets don't benefit from that versus it being pen before. So we're doing a few things. One, we're increasing his base damage on this ability to help him with early clears and early engages. And then Inferno Cannon is getting just magical power scaling increases. And if you target a person with Backfire, the amount of damage you're going to be doing to them is further amplified to really encourage that kind of playstyle versus just plopping down the turret. So giving him magical scaling, giving him a bit of base damage to help him out, and compensating for some changes that caused pet characters to not itemize as well as they have before.
Perfect. All right, that does it for gods today for 5.5 Party Time Update. You got a little graphic to show you exactly, if you're just joining us, what you've missed. A couple changes. Isis, Vulcan getting buffs that I'm going to go home and play with. Then Wukong, Errlang, Shen that I will probably complain about on Reddit later. That's so that does it for gods and items. But we've got some other small things we want to go over very quickly. Pon, I know you've been working on this new player experience changes.
Yeah, so this is stuff that we're doing for Project Olympus that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
And the thing that I was working on was new player experience. So new player experience, we're changing the level up rewards that players get when they first get into our game and start playing. These changes are very much focused towards new players who are coming in, making sure their time feels rewarded, rewarding them with things that actually feel very good. Before they were rentals, and now they're going to be things like favored gems, items, and just really trying to grow the player base of SMITE. What players are introduced to when they first log into the game and what rewards they're getting and how it's presented to them matters a lot when it comes to a person being really interested in staying in the game.
Sure.
And so we're improving that experience, giving out more rewards so that those players feel more engaged. And it is really focused on making sure players stay in the game and grow SMITE as a whole.
And speaking of players being happy, AJ, I know we've been doing some little tweaks to matchmaking.
Right. So we have some matchmaking changes happening in 5.5. There's going to be a lot more information on the website. You can go read the blog post.
Yep.
So I'm not going to get in too much detail here. We're rolling out some changes to our algorithm. This is going to be done in a kind of testing phase. So first, it's going to be on 5.5 when PC launches. We're going to be applying it to certain player groups and certain queues at certain times, and really just be collecting a lot of data. Are going to see how things work, and then as we get more information about it, we can keep rolling this out more widespread. And this will arrive on console when they get 5.5. So
Awesome.
check the patch notes when they come out and look for the blog post for a lot more information on this. But this is very interesting for sure.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the new casual set.
Super comfy.
Yeah. Well, we got to check in and see on how Isaiah and Brett are doing. We kind of threw them in the other brand new set that we have. The community guys here to talk about what you're going to need for all the amazing skins we're about to show you. You're going to need some gems. So Brett or Isaiah, can anyone help us out with that?
Yeah, I can help you out. We have a gem sale running right now. That's freaking incredible. I shouldn't say freaking. That's really incredible. 35% gem sale, 35% off, up to 35% off all platforms for that gem sale. And we also have, as you can see on screen, there's an Ultimate God Pack that is 50% off as well. Get all current and future gods. There's 94 of them. That's a lot of gods.
Definitely.
All right,
that
perfect. Thank you for the
Yeah.
Ultimate God Pack, 50% off. That's the good stuff, Brett.
It
I'm gonna
is.
be honest with you. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, but I can just look into your eyes and feel comforted and at home that you're going to take care of our wonderful player base. Isaiah, I know that you were telling me about something before this patch note show, and as soon as you started talking to me about some cool skins that I might have missed in the past, I just started daydreaming about what I can get in these new season chests we've got going on.
That's right. We're doing so many awesome things for our SMITE birthday. On top of all the awesome events that we're running in game, we're introducing these new season chests. So every day during the SMITE birthday week, a new season chest will become available that highlights some of the favorite skins for the gods that were released that season. So right now we've got the Season 4 chest and the Season 3 chest available. So if your favorite god came out in Season 4, let's say you like CUDGEL, you can get that Baywatch skin. Or Season 3, you can get that Dreadful Doll Izanami skin. Just roll the season chest for a chance at a guaranteed skin. It's awesome.
Perfect. That's awesome stuff. Okay, so last up here that I think I have is the season ticket store. We got a couple new ways that you guys can earn some awesome skins. Isaiah, can you explain this to me? Because I'm not very good at the quick maths, if you will.
That's right. So the SPL just started. If you get your votes in on those games, you can earn some FP. You can also earn fantasy points just by playing. And say you missed out on a skin, we've got this brand new season ticket store that has a bunch of awesome recolors as well as skins that rotate in every patch. So as well as these awesome skins that are displayed on screen, this patch coming in 5.5, we're going to introduce Primal Huntress Artemis, Jandroid Janus, and King of the Deep Poseidon. And each update, new skins will rotate into the season ticket store.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate you coming by to the Patch Note Show. Hope you like the new little caster setup.
This new set is
they have
awesome.
there.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You guys look great. Let me tell you.
Appreciate it, Aggro.
All right, guys, coming on back to the casual couch set. Now joined by the lovely Tina, always here. We've got Ben joining the show. Ben, welcome in to the update show. This is like you and I are going to be forever linked for being on the update show at the first
Double
time.
dragon right here.
Yeah,
Man.
this is us right here. Ben has been a long-time high-res employee working in the art department.
Yeah, I'm the lead character artist on SMITE. I've been here for, I don't know, for 11 years or so.
Wow.
I'm no Chuck, though, but I'll try to fill in as best I can.
You are still wearing black, some dark colors, so getting.
Like I said, I'm trying.
Well, yeah.
I'm trying.
He likes skulls.
Yeah, trying to like ease the transition.
That's right. That's right. You'll grow to like it.
Exactly. Oh, I bet. All right, we're gonna start it off here with Itty Bitty Chibi Amus and Cobb. This is a skin that immediately I'm super excited about.
Oh, yeah.
Why Amus and Cobb for the next Chibi skin? Is it just because he's got such an adorable big head?
Well,
I think that that's part of it. He's a great candidate for the chibi look, and a lot of the other ones are kind of like more animal creature people. So he's kind of like a bee guy. So it's a close transition, I think.
Plus, like
He's our first
Chibi.
hunter
You guys
as
get
well.
it? Like Chibi.
I think that may
Like-
have played into it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
because we
There
had
he is.
mages in the past, and I guess.
What, you don't
we
like
wanted
mages,
to-
Tina?
No. I mean, yeah,
like
we
AJ's
like
in her
mages,
ear.
but I just wanted. Is there something wrong with my?
Yeah, you just gotta put it a little bit closer. There you
Okay.
go. Yeah, there. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
There's the Chibi Amus and Cobb in game in all his big-headed, adorable glory.
look at that
The one thing that
beehive.
I noticed right away, guys, is that he looks really adorable in like the card art and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then you actually look into his face when he's
It's-
coming at you in lane, and it's actually super terrifying.
it's intense. It's intense.
He's staring in your soul, man.
But it's cute to you. Like from the back, you never know. So you never have that intimidation
Surprise.
factor.
he kind of reminds me of Chucky, like the evil spawn of Chucky,
If he was like a little redheaded
like
version.
the
wings.
doll who's
Yeah.
gonna kill
Stinger
you.
hand.
Oh my God, can you imagine flying Chucky? Get me out
New skin.
immediately.
Let me know.
There's the
that's cool.
honey as well. Got some cute little bees to go along.
Yeah, they're
With
huge.
them.
They're huge bees.
There's the ultimate stinger right there. It still doesn't feel very cute when you got stung. I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
It's just the stuff he says is gonna be
That's
what
where
hits
you
the
really get
spot.
it.
Point, really winning
Yeah,
on that.
I made him. So when he shoots his stinger, I made it kind of sound like he's taking a big shit.
I see. Perfect. Well, speaking of taking a listen, I guess let's take a listen to some of the itty bitty chibi Amus and Cobb's voice lines.
Amazing! You are something else. I am simply the best. Amazing! My honey is very thick. Prepare to get sticky. You don't want to know where this stinger's been. You look like you could use a little vitamin B. You know, squeezing
Vitamin
the
B.
stinger out is like having a very pointy baby.
I heard something
Honey's
else
for
there.
weeks.
I don't have to say what I heard. That laugh. That's pretty solid. I love the woohoo as the kind of homage to his normal voice pack, but this time with like a bigger head.
Yes.
Perfect.
Exactly.
There it is. Itty bitty chibi Amus and Cobb. That's included in the birthday bundle. So make sure you guys snag that up as soon as possible. Also in that birthday bundle, Elegant Nemesis. Kind of the skin we led off with here. Our namesake show, kind of. she's on the patch picture. This is a really cool one, Ben. I love the feel where it's cool, but also like kind of badass in just
So
overall.
we try to
awesome.
mix like the dark kind of like contrasty elements with a lot of the like sophisticated line work and stuff to be elegant and smooth kind of. And there's a lot of these kind of bladey elements that look really badass at the same time too. And there's a nice contrast between the rest of it and the hair popping that we try to really focus on.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I love the way that the sword like the in and out like razor blade style almost.
And that she has gears on her wings. That's pretty dope too.
That's awesome. Really good looking in the game for sure. One of those that definitely translates very well from the card art to the in game. There you can see the slice and dice. Ooh, those sound effects though. I can get behind that. There's the
Oh, that looks dope.
the double dash. Wow, that looks so cool. The little blue effects. A lot of Nemesis's effects have like been pretty like subtle on some skins, but I love that that
Going
little
over the
trail.
top.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
super cool. And there's the retribution shield as well. Guys, I think this might be my favorite Nemesis skin.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
is.
I don't know what to tell you.
It is.
I really like the wing
Incredible.
treatment. Like the other ones are a little more like kind of generic kind of looking. This one really looks sharp. Really goes with the aggressive blade structure and stuff. It's really nice.
And she
Yeah.
has wingsies on her feetsies.
Oh, does she?
And I hear that, this is our birthday bundle. Part of that, make sure you pick it up.
Yes.
The artist who worked on this heavily, Wayne, also, it's his birthday.
Yep.
Like today or
It
tomorrow,
is.
right?
Planned. It's tomorrow, I think. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Well,
It is.
happy birthday to Wayne.
And
Yeah.
apparently, there's been some work on her buns as well, like the buns,
the what?
the butt,
The butt
like
tech.
the butt tech. We have amplified it or
Dialed it up.
upped the game of the butt tech.
Okay.
So if you zoom in, which
I think,
Pong won't, but you can do it yourself at home.
You could
if you zoom
wanted
in,
to.
you will
Yes.
see that she's got quite a nice ass.
There you go. Or you could zoom in on the gears and the wings or the
That's
the,
true.
the
but-
really
but-
cool looking
but
sword.
It's even written down on your little note that she's got great butt tech.
Did you read my notes?
I did.
I think it also
That's
says
cheating.
don't talk
That's
about the butt
cheating.
tech on my notes, Tina. Did you miss that part?
She's trying to put you on the spot, man.
Tell you what, I'm just out here trying to
Don't
talk
put
about
that on here
gears
ever
and
again.
all right, we're moving on. We're moving on. We've talked so much about this birthday bundle.
we need
We've
the
kinda
voice
showed
pack.
you- Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Let's listen to the voice pack. I'm so sorry.
Yes, you're fine.
Wait! That was insane. You don't disappoint. Yeah, I'm pretty amazing. Whatever. You're not worth my time. So are you gonna complain all day, or are we gonna fight? Do I look like I need rescuing? I'm a slay my own dragon kinda gal. If they're still standing, it's because I haven't knocked them out yet.
Definitely going for the badass theme here.
Yeah, so the voice actress for this is actually Elizabeth Maxwell. She's in Ruby. She's like one of the main characters in Ruby.
Oh, cool.
And she's in Attack on Titan and Overlord and stuff like that as well. So she's really awesome.
That's really cool. Awesome stuff there for Elegant Nemesis. Again, part of that birthday bundle. And if you get all 3 birthday bundles, we had one for the last patch in 5.4, now for 5.5, and a little bit of an early spoiler for you guys. There will be another birthday bundle in 5.6. And if you get all 3 of those birthday bundles, you will earn the Anubis skin that is amazing.
Yes.
Look at that. What, Jackal Tech?
Jackal Tech,
like
yeah.
Yeah, we really want to go with like the mech stuff for this. Like, there's some really cool work with the effects. He's a little bit larger than life when you see him. We kind of dialed up a little bit on the size than the other Anubises, so it looks really powerful in game. And the effects are really, really going to sell this.
Again, make sure that you get your birthday bundles in order. You're going to want to grab this skin. We're not going to show it to you in game quite yet. Still putting the final touches on there, but I can't wait to see it in game. That'll be in 5.6. But again, got to buy all those birthday bundles. All right, so as for skins that will still be in 5.5, let's move on to Orbital Scout Artemis. We've had a kind of a badass Artemis skin before where she's like that infiltrator. Now she's a space infiltrator.
Correct.
Yeah.
With her Tuskar dino thing.
Is that what it is?
Tusky.
Well, his real name is Tusky.
Is a boar, Ben. Everyone knows that Tusky is a boar. No Tusky could be a dinosaur. I mean, come on.
Tuskar.
Or actually, he might be an
The
alien.
Borbarian.
Because it's space and stuff.
Yeah, an alien dinosaur boar
dino
Tuskar.
Thing.
Yeah, everyone knows about all those. This is Orbital Scout Artemis. Ooh,
This came out really awesome.
It is.
Yeah,
I like her
really
traps.
like the
Oh, that's so cool.
like the tech levels. Like, it's not the space tech that we're used to doing. We've been doing a lot of that lately. This is kind of like more of a spacey military kind of tech stuff.
Yeah,
I
dude.
really dig it.
Yeah, but the flowing cape as well is the first thing that stands out to me. Like all this super cool space tech, but you still got time to go to the thrift store and pick up this dope looking
She's
cape.
styling on
She
him,
goes
man.
into her
She's got some
gun.
nice
Yeah,
elegant
yeah.
bits to it.
Ooh, she's scoping them up. Oh, is that when you activate the 2? Oh, that's so. It's got different auto attack noises. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, the sound effects cool too. A little pew sound. Very very good.
I mean, if you're not pew pewing the enemies, are you even playing ADC?
Right?
Like, come on. Oh, that's so cool.
There's the
An orbital strike.
There it is.
You basically get like a kill streak looking thing.
That is so
just
cool.
for pressing 3.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, let's check out Tuskar.
There it is.
Look at him.
Oh.
He's got a collar, but he wants to wear that collar. That's by choice,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, he's down.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Making sure that we're.
So if he gets lost, they can find out where he's at. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Looking very fearsome there. Dinosaur, fish, boar, tusky guy. Let's listen to the voice pack here for Orbital Scout Artemis.
Yeah! Phenomenal! Not a novice after all. I'm the Star Huntress. These Outlanders don't know when to stop. Tell me where I can find your most valuable resources, or it's gonna get messy. Why do I wear bulletproof vests? To protect myself against shooting stars. How do I add more meat to my diet? Well, I make it meatier.
Ha ha ha. That was me after hearing that shooting stars joke, by the way. But mine wasn't real.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Tina. I didn't mean to offend you.
Little chemistry going on here.
Dark Matter Kepri next up on the list. Probably my favorite card art in this patch. Ben, can you send me that for like a computer background thing?
Got it, man.
Immediately? Like
make that happen.
ASAP right now. This thing is awesome. I love all these Dark Matter looking skins, you know, the Medusa, the Agni. I use them all the time. And Kepri looks super good. And look at all the space that you have to like put all that galaxy tech in there. He's a big boy.
I gotta say, I think this is my favorite of the space guys. Like, there's so many different material breakups. Like, the space stuff is in there and it's very nice, but it's like there's so much more to play with on top of that. A lot of the other guys, like, it's very just space based.
Yeah.
This is like a nice balance. I really dig this, and the wings come out too, and it's really dope.
Man, look at that. It
Oh,
has
the
that
ball. That's
metallic.
awesome.
Oh man. When he opens up the wings, it's a little galaxy in there, Ben.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Anything can happen back there, man.
Love it. That's awesome stuff. There's the abduct. Get some little space particles behind him. Oh, I like the little silence, like a little circle that comes around him.
Yeah.
the theme of these skins always like I love to see the sets. You know, we do the pirate sets and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Look at the trail that it leaves. It's like a huge galaxy. Look at that.
That's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Like a constellation kind of pattern
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Oh, I love it. I just love this set. That's basically where I was going. You know, the tech sets, the pirate sets, whatever. Just give me as many of these space gods as you can.
All right, man.
I'm all about
We'll
it.
keep them coming.
That's perfect. You
I'm
get a
down,
little
dude.
extra alt stuff there, and ooh, save him, Pawn. Nice work, Pawn. See, that's what you never would have gotten with Hindu Man here. He probably would have BM'd you for that.
Yep.
That's a great play
You're right.
by young man Pawn Pawn. Can we hear the voice pack for Dark Matter Captain?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Ooh.
Didn't expect that sound.
Astronomical. You are fascinating. I make it bang. Being naive is not your fault, Organic. I am more powerful than you can fathom. Observation 1. Human organics enjoy adopting other species into their families. One in particular is called a kitten. I would like one.
See, that's an S tier joke right there.
Thank you.
I like that one.
build up.
Can we hear the curses? I hear the curses is pretty solid.
By the
VVGS.
moons of Uranus.
I
By the
regret asking
moons
you.
of Uranus.
You're welcome.
By
You should
the moons
have.
of
That is nowhere
Uranus.
on my notes here, Tina. I knew I shouldn't have gone off script. That's Dark Matter Kepri. Thank you, Pon.
Thank you, Pon.
An awesome space skin.
Oh, wait, he has a VXG.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he does.
Again,
Light it up, Pon. Oh!
he flies around all the time. I don't know what you guys do that's so special for the Kepri voice packs, but I feel like the Kepri ones always just feel so good. I mean, the default Kepri, the announcer pack that comes with it, all that kind of stuff, so awesome. And this one fits so well.
Yeah.
You gotta feel safe.
Yeah, he was such a nice guy he was like a dad. It was great. The voice actor.
And he likes kittens, apparently.
Yeah, he laughed at that joke too.
Oh, that's a
Made
good
me
one.
feel better.
Nice work. Nice work.
All right, next up, the one that I was most excited about, even though that might have stolen the show.
Oh, yeah.
Sky Tech Zeus. If Zeus isn't going to get his stun back on his 3, he may as well start getting some 6 skins. He already has so many, but you got to make sure that you make it as difficult as possible for your player to decide. This one, it feels like kind of superhero-y, kind of like just mech badass guy.
So we're going in line with the mech stuff on this one. This is again going a little bit away from the dark cyber kind of stuff and more towards like an anime kind of like mech, like in that line. We really wanted to play up the shield. That was like a huge thing. You got the Aegis shield, but this time with like a digital format and a really cool kind of like graphic for that Medusa head.
Okay, is there any way, just for my account
Sure.
only, Ben, that you could make that shield just be like some sort of
Recolor or
obscene
something?
gesture?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
We could do something if you like, maybe like a phallic kind of thing.
yeah,
I don't know if
I
you
was
like
thinking
that.
more like, I got that's not where I was going, Ben. I was looking for a middle finger, but that's all.
Just like a big
same thing.
eggplant.
Yeah.
I think a big
No,
eggplant.
how did this happen? No,
big
that's not what I meant at
eggplant.
all.
It's okay. See, gestures are coming, man. We got you.
All right, perfect. Chain lightning there. Oh, that detonate looks so cool. I love the charges on the enemy gods and the little flash after you actually detonate them. They're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
kind of like sparkling. Oh, that's so cool. All right, let's see the shield. Mine will be just as everyone else's is. Nothing weird about it at all. The little pulsating electricity coming out of there.
That's pretty dope.
Oh,
I'm digging
that's
this already.
awesome.
I love it. All right, let's check out the alt. Is that a spaceship?
Oh,
Oh
what?
my-
I haven't
That's
even
so
seen this.
What is
Cool.
happening?
I don't know if it's like a real spaceship, but it's a big old
happening?
area where you shouldn't go.
That's right.
Oh my god.
That's amazing. I love it. I can't wait to just play Zeus all day. That's all I want to do ever anyways, but especially once SkyTech comes out. Let's hear a voice pack little preview.
Shocking!
I thought that was like, I was like, how did the quiet get in the woohoo section?
Fantastic! I bring the thunder! You got this. Zapping people is my specialty. I'll take on all of you. Who's lucky? Are you kidding? I don't need luck.
Have you seen these guns? People say I shock them because I don't know how to ground myself.
I love it. The SkyTech Zeus. And was that a special a VXG there that I saw? That.
Yes.
Yeah, look at that. He flies around. Ooh, I love it. Why walk when you can fly?
Right?
That's basically all I want to do anyways. That's awesome stuff. SkyTech Zeus available in patch 5.5. And again, to reiterate, make sure you pick up that Party Time bundle. That's the one with the Elegant Nemesis, the Itty Bitty Chibi AMC. That's in that Party Time bundle. That'll let you get the Jackal Tech Anubis.
Buy all 3 bundles.
Buy all 3, exactly. From last patch, this one, and the next one. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Ben, gotta say, great job on the debut here on the update show.
Man. Oh, thanks. Nice job.
Thank you. Before I let you go, I gotta ask what your favorite skin is. That's like something that Hindu Man does that I should copy.
Oh,
For this patch?
Yeah, for this patch, yeah.
you start.
I like the Capri. I don't know. That was one of our junior artists that did that. She knocked it out of the park. Killed it.
I'll say.
Yeah.
That's great stuff. Tina?
I'm gonna have to say Itty Bitty Chibi, just because AMC is one of my favorite gods, and I like writing chibi skins, so it was
the itty
and just
bee
like
thing.
Yeah.
the bees and how big the bees are, it's just pollinating.
Oh, okay. There you go. That does it for your 5.5 update show. Thank you again, Tina and Ben, for joining me for the skin section. But if you want some more SMITE content, I've got really, really good news for you guys. The SPL is starting like right now, almost 5 o'clock, just in a couple minutes. The SPL is going to be live exclusively on Mixer. So make sure you go grab a snack and come right back because the SPL is going to be coming at you right at 5.